and welcome to our first Talking Dead podcast. Though we're probably going to get copyrighted on this.
Probably, yeah, probably.
Yeah,
we're going to get the copyright police on us, probably, but how it goes sometimes.
We'll see what happens. We're going to try and not use any of the music. Much. And we're just going to use some stills from the movie and occasionally
some pictures.
Some of the pictures.
Some pics.
Yeah.
That's copyright free, hopefully.
Public domain. And we're also going to, not on this particular one, but as we get into the groove of these sort of things, we're going to start reenacting scenes from horror films, aren't we?
And that's going to be fun. We're going to get some props in and it's going to be all good fun and gory. Yeah.
So there's going to be plenty of this. So, all that kind of stuff is going to go on in the future. We're going to talk about all sorts of different things. But we thought, going into Halloween season, and our first one should start with a classic horror comedy, which was called
Beetlejuice.
Don't say it thrice. Yes, we went back to the original from the 1980s and did no research whatsoever. This is purely about the fact that we have watched it and we are going to talk about it. And it's got an interesting film because I think, was it the first time you've seen Beetlejuice?
First time, yeah.
It's the first time he's seen Beetlejuice. I saw it at the cinema when it first came out in the late 80s. We know it's Tim Burton directed it. Yep, we know that. We know there were people starring in it. We're not even going to go into that because you already know all that. What we're going to do is start talking about the film itself. So, are you ready to go into the model and on to the other side?
It's showtime.
Let's go and talk about Beetlejuice. So, Stephen, first time you've ever seen Beetlejuice, what do you think?
I think it's an alright horror film. It's got some jump scares, it's got some laughter and stuff, and I think it's a really good film, especially for younger audiences that are just getting into horror.
Okay. Now, this is going to be an interesting thing for me, because the ghosts were the most, baby! Bad impression there. One of the things that I was worried about in showing you this film is because this is pre-CGI special effects.
Yeah.
What did you think of all the special effects?
I think it was... I don't know how to explain it. I think it's just shocking that they had that technology back then in the 80s, but how it's progressed into horror films, and it's like the ancestors of horror films, basically.
Well, this is what we're going to get. Oh, people of the internet, we have here somebody who was born well into the 2000s. He thinks the 1980s are the ancestors of horror.
I didn't mean it that way, Dad.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Look, let's get into this, right? Michael Keaton plays... It was actually one of his breakthrough roles, I think, was Beetlejuice. I remember going to see it not knowing anything about it. You know, it's a really sort of like thing. So, we're going to do a bit of a spoiler alert. And then we're going to say, look, what happens in this movie? Well, it starts off with a couple. I'm not going to go into names. I don't like doing names. Do you like doing names? Well, we won't do names then. But it starts off with this couple, and lovely couple. They're doing a staycation, a proper staycation. They're vacating in their house, not just staying in the same country. So, a staycation, and they decided to do all that sort of thing. And they own a model shop, and they're building a model of the town. It's absolutely fantastic. And he needs to go and get a particular brush, the husband, so he convinces his wife to go with him. They go off to the shop, and on their way back, lo and behold, dog in the way, bish bash bosh, end up in the drink. Am I wrong so far?
No.
Anyway, get back to the house, and very quickly on, we actually find that they're the ghosts of the hosts. And so they have their house that they fall in love with. They spent years sorting out, and suddenly this New York City bunch move in with all their arty ways, and they don't like it. They're trying to, and basically the fun comes from the idea of not knowing how to be a ghost and making all the mistakes as it goes along. The only person that can see them is the goth kid. And it kind of goes from there until they decide to call on the services of Beetlejuice. How do you get Beetlejuice? How do you call him?
Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. Oh, great, he's going to come after us. Oh, no.
You've only said it twice.
Beetlejuice.
Oh! So, yes, Beetlejuice then turns up, and all the hilarity begins. So, you like the humour?
I love it.
Yeah? Thought it was very jokey.
Certainly not being sarky there, but I love it.
Yeah? That's very, very good. And we like the horror.
Love the horror.
Yeah? Because there are some pretty gory bits in it, aren't there?
Yeah. Like...
Yeah. And pulls his face
It's
off.
horrible. It flicks the eyeballs up.
Yeah, it's all that kind of stuff. And pulls the eyes out and all that. Loads of it, isn't there? So it's got a good element of gore. And this is actually pitched at children, teenagers.
Yeah.
So that's where it was when we went to see it at the cinema. But yeah, I think it still holds up.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and the special effects are a little bit ropey. There's a little bit of, chroming on the blue screen that's there. There was one moment when they're in the desert, but sandworms not saying anything about Tim Burton plagiarising Dune. But I bet he wouldn't get a copyright strike on YouTube, would he? No, he wouldn't. Right, favoritism and all that kind of stuff. So. We enjoyed watching this film. It had a certain amount of scares. It had a good amount of jokes. It was funny. It was crazy. It was different. Even nowadays it was different, which was quite nice to see. And if I can hear that dog in the background of this video, we might have a zombie dog. Right? But yeah, it was there was really good stuff in it, didn't you think? So, what are you laughing at now?
I don't know, I just got laughing through or something.
There you go. Anyway, Beetlejuice, well worth a second visit. I think, going back over the old stuff, it did hold up nicely. I personally am not a fan of the whole scene around the table. Mr. Tallyman, give me a banana.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit, it was alright, but it was going a bit over the top.
Bit silly.
A bit silly. It's no need.
Silly. I don't mind the song, don't get me wrong, I like the song. Come, Mr. Tallyman, give me a banana.
It's like they're having a seizure or something.
Yeah, hey, careful. So anyway, but even at the time when it first came out, I didn't particularly like that bit. But I also have a bit of aversion to musicals if they're not the Little Shop of Horrors or Grease. So it was all right, but I like the bit of the snake. When Beetlejuice turns into that big snake off the banister rail.
That was just insane seeing ever. It's probably the most close to my heart.
Close to your heart. What do you like? Anyway, so we enjoyed it. So from the old geezer that is me talking about this, it was nice to revisit it. I think it still holds up, unlike some of the 80s movies I've gone back to. Haven't seen the second one yet, so we need to see that. Yeah. So again, so you, Mr. Newbie, hardly been on this earth any length of time, what would you watch it again?
Definitely, I'll watch it for many days to come.
Do you want to see the second one?
Definitely, I'll give it a watch. I heard that it's a little bit iffy, but I'll be the judge of that. That's
what we're going to do, we'll judge that. So we'll watch that at some point in the future. We have no idea what we're doing. No idea what we're doing at all.
We just started a random channel, just did it for fun.
And we watched Beetlejuice as the first one.
Yeah.
We watched Beetlejuice because he wouldn't watch the Addams Family. You are going to watch Addams Family Values.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
You have to watch Addams Family Values. Absolute Halloween classic. So this is what we're doing. If you want us to have a look at any particular movies or any particular games, then give us a shout and we will see what we can do. And we will just talk inanely at things and have strange pictures come up in the occasional sound effect. I am pretty certain this will find its feet eventually. We're going to do some shout-outs?
Shout-outs to Mooch TV.
Mooch.
Because he is going to make sure this goes well, and he's going to be on the podcast eventually when he's free.
Oh yeah, he's going to definitely be a guest on it.
Definitely. And go and check out his channel. We'll leave the link in the description.
I'm going to do a shout out to Jamie Langlands, who has recently just finished shooting on a horror movie and has actually recently done a premiere on another horror movie actually. So he's becoming Jamie Langlands, remember that name, he's going to be a name to watch for directing low budget horror movies. Keep an eye out for him. Who else do we want to say? Anyone else?
No.
How about our mate Russ? Russ!
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Russ! Ross Brown. So Ross Brown's House of Secrets in Blackpool. Big supporters of the channel. He's been very kind to us as we've been trying to get things sorted out and set up. Which also leads us to a very special mention. We've got the Ghostbusters. From around...
So pull and subscribe, thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And from around the country, all the various Ghostbuster societies who do great works for charity. If you are a member of some form of horror society, like the Blackpool Horror Society, which we need to get back up and running again. If you're a member of any kind of society, get in contact, we'll give you a shout out. And loads. And, even if you're a famous magician like Paul Zenon, watch this space. I'm going to try and get Paul on for an interview at some point because he has done a couple of horror things. He played a zombie,
Oh, yeah. What film?
Very scary looking zombie. I can't remember the name of it. It's set in Brighton. It was a sort of like short horror movie, and I've seen him in the makeup, and it's very scary. And
yeah.
We shall bring you news on that one. News on other horror movies as well as we get it. We are into the Halloween season, so we're going to be doing another couple of these and sort of like stacking them up a little bit. So over the next couple of weeks, you might get a few of these, but hey, it'll sort itself out in the end because everything does. Yeah.
By the time you're watching this, it's uploaded. Because you wouldn't be able to watch it if it wasn't uploaded.
I thought you were going to do. If you're watching this, we're already dead.
That's just dark.
It is dark. It's a dark channel.
It's a dark web channel.
It's not a dark web. No. Mr. Lawman, we're not. Mr. Lawman, we're not on the dark web. We're not on the dark web. Not at all. We're just like horror movies, and we like horror stories, and we'll be getting back to you with some more. Oh, that's another one. Read Ashley Lister books. Ashley Lister's books of horror are fantastic, so check them out. He's got his Dead End Tours books, which are an absolute hoot, and you really do need to read them. Anyway, that's, I think, so basically, one of the worst reviews you've ever heard of Beetlejuice, and not a bad review of Beetlejuice, just the review itself was bad. We'll do better at some point. We'll make notes and stuff. But as it is, this is what we're doing at the start, and hopefully I can, polish this turd.
Yeah. That just sounds disturbing. But
it does sound very disturbing.
We'll leave you now, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you like, and we'll see you on the next podcast. Peace out.
Peace out? It's a horror channel! You know this? Sleep well, kiddies.